The VTuber space is currently one of the fastest growing areas of the internet. It seems like every other week, a newly debuted streamer is blowing past 100,000 followers on Twitch, with loyal audiences and lucrative business deals in tow. One of the most popular talents in the industry is, or was, Kiryu Coco, a live streamer with more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube alone. Her career was proving to be extremely promising until September of 2020, when a bizarre controversy put her budding career in jeopardy. While many e-celebrities will leave companies due to having questionable chat log leaks or sparking a feud with a fellow creator, this was not the case. According to some online sources, she was cut for revealing controversial statements to some viewers and offending some nationalities. What makes her controversy with HoloLive so interesting is that it actually involves 8 decades of geopolitical conflict. It's not every day that government officials are made aware of animated celebrities, especially with assets of this size printed out on 8.5 by 11 white paper. This is the story of why China hates Kiryu Coco. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. If you enjoy fast internet speeds, saving money on purchases like Netflix and Spotify, and stopping ads and malware, then Atlas VPN is for you. And there's never been a better time to sign up, with them offering a 3-year deal for just $1.99 a month. Now look, I know some of you guys in my audience are looking at some weird stuff online, especially given the subjects of some of my videos. Well, Atlas VPN creates an encrypted tunnel for all of your internet traffic to go through. It'll protect you from spying, whatever shoddy coffee shop Wi-Fi you are currently connected to in order to browse some degenerate forum, and hide your IP address. I like to use Atlas when researching my videos to make sure I'm safe while browsing strange sites that could be using my data. And you can do this on as many devices as you want. It's available for Windows, it's on the App Store, and Google Play. Right now, Atlas is running a huge discount for their service, a 3-year subscription for just $1.99 a month. And if you don't like it, there's even a 30-day money-back guarantee. Time is running out for this deal, so if it sounds good to you, click the link in the description to get the best VPN deal on the market. Alright, now back to the video. For traditional streamers, it's pretty typical for personalities to be independent. They are not signed to any network or talent agency apart from forms signed with Twitch or YouTube in order to receive payouts. They are allowed to do and say whatever they want, collaborate with whoever they want, and post the kind of content they want on whatever basis.
Wait, am I oh, get this shit off me!
For VTubers, this is rarely the case, as most popular streamers are contractually obligated by the companies that premiere them. Formed in 2017, HoloLive is the biggest of these organizations, beginning its lineup with Tokino Sora. As a recognizable member to this day, Sora is widely credited as being one of the most important figures to the company's history. As impressive as Sora was, HoloLive's creator, Mordecai Tanigo, had much greater ambitions than just one streamer. He aimed for world domination. Countries like Indonesia, China, and even English-speaking nations were next on the list, as HoloLive successfully debuted localized personalities in each of these territories. Faces like Gura, often referred to on anime Twitter as the Shark Girl, are now pop culture icons with posters, costumes, and plenty of bastards trying to sell fake merch off their name being found everywhere online. To further illustrate their success, in November of 2021, Dexerto reported that out of the 10 most super chatted streamers on YouTube, 9 were virtual YouTubers. Of those 9, 8 were signed to HoloLive. In December of 2019, the 4th generation of HoloLive personalities would be released, including Kiryu Coco. As part girl and part dragon, she had a very forward personality that instantly connected with many viewers. Much like the rest of the debuts, she was also a breakout success, passing 100,000, 200,000, and even 300,000 subscribers on YouTube within months. Part of her success was the fact that she was bilingual, being able to speak both English and Japanese fluently. This allowed her to interact with Western audiences and garner a strong following in the English-speaking world. She would even review memes from the HoloLive subreddit.
ペコラと船長ペコラ vs マリン Marin win.
She easily earned thousands of dollars in donations every time she went live, and arguably connected with viewers better than most talents in the space. It's truly hard to discount her success. 14 months after her debut, she smashed past 1 million subscribers, and the money she was making at the time was, needless to say, pretty damn good. At her peak, she was the most super chatted YouTuber ever. Not just VTuber, not just streamer, but the most super chatted YouTube channel to ever exist. And while her personality was known for being somewhat outspoken from time to time, it was never to the detriment of HoloLive and their business. Ironically, it would be when she was doing something completely casual that outrage was sparked. With HoloLive's business spanning multiple territories, it often had to tiptoe around mentioning the existence of certain countries in branding as not to offend ruling governments. China, in particular, is a country with thousands of years of history and a very strong culture to this day. While the early half of the 20th century saw many organizations competing for power in Asia, one of the biggest would be the CCP, often referred to in the West as the Chinese Communist Party. Founded in 1921, the party would have its hands around China's neck by the late 1940s. In 1949, the country was officially declared a one-party state, and since then, it's been ruled by the same leadership, handpicked by the CCP. With a population of 1.4 billion, the Chinese market is a huge one, which, if accessed, can prove extremely lucrative for business. However, that access is only granted to corporations also in the good graces of the party. As with many one-party nation-states, China takes great offense to criticism of their government and its actions, or even minor technical designations that may not be aligned with their messaging. One particular subject that they take great issue with is Taiwan, or rather, the acknowledgement of Taiwan as its own country. The CCP's greatest opponents post-World War was the Nationalist Party, which fled to the small island nation of Taiwan and has been there ever since.
For people in Taiwan and for most of the world, Taiwan is an independent country, but as far as the Chinese government is concerned, Taiwan is a renegade province which must be reunified with China.
From a geopolitical standpoint, Taiwan is not currently owned by China, but any acknowledgement of Taiwan as separate from China sparks major outrage from the government, who pressures businesses into apologizing and correcting any mention. In 2019, when McDonald's premiered an advertisement in Taiwan, they included a 2-second clip of an ID card showing Taiwan as a country, and were forced to apologize in order to continue doing business. Other brands include the National Basketball Association, Delta Airlines, Mercedes-Benz, as well as The Gap, who have all apologized, mirroring the same exact message. Insert brand name here respects the sovereignty and territorial integrity of China. Even beyond brands, some Chinese citizens have been known to become outraged when celebrities speak ill of the country or its past. In 2020, BTS became embroiled in backlash when expressing solidarity with the United States. For any company wishing to do business with the Chinese, their options are to either bow to the totalitarian politics of the region or miss out on millions of dollars in revenue.
Who's the asshole? Which one of you decided to go and start bad-mouthing the Chinese government?
Given the goal of any business is to make as much money as possible, they tend to give in. In late September of 2020, Kiryu Coco and fellow VTuber Akai Hato were live on YouTube, as they would be any other day. To show where their live viewers were from, Coco opened up YouTube Analytics on stream to discuss the origin countries of her fans. Those analytics displayed China and Taiwan as two separate territories with their own statistics. This did not go over well. News outlets across Southeast Asia began reporting on the fact that many viewers and the government itself was outraged at the mere acknowledgement. It became so well known amongst the media that the two streamers were even discussed in a parliament meeting between Chinese and Japanese officials.
Rough translation: at the second JPAC General Assembly held at the second member's office building of the House of Representatives, the incident of Hachama and Coco was cited as an example of the problems Japanese companies face dealing with China in business.
And it wasn't just from the higher-ups either. The people were not quick to turn away. Both VTubers reportedly received a number of death threats following the incident from more zealous supporters of the CCP who were wholly unimpressed by their stream. With article after article being published and the Chinese outraged at the mention of Taiwan, HoloLive risked repercussions if they did not take action. Their parent company, Cover Corp, apologized, saying that they did not mean to offend any nationalities with the comments made on stream. As reparations for the misstep, They even claimed that their CEO would be taking a pay cut following the incident, and they formed a special internal committee just for the purpose of avoiding and managing any similar future incidents. Of course, the actual talent involved could not go unpunished. Directly after the incident happened, the two were permanently banned on a Chinese streaming site without any warning. Coco and Hato were also temporarily suspended from HoloLive, with the company hoping this would quell the backlash. It did not. While in the Western world, it is broadly accepted that China's government is totally unpopular, in actuality, there are some Chinese nationals who are very supportive of the government. Chinese fans of HoloLive were still enraged and demanded a more severe punishment. Most internet happenings of this tier stay within the realm of, well, the internet. Perhaps esports news and tech outlets like Polygon will report on it, but that's it. In this case, HoloLive's familiar faces had been plastered all over mainstream articles in Southeast Asia, as well as on the news in Taiwan. A long Reddit post from r/hobbydrama details the events that followed their livestream slip-up quite well. Select channels in the community, including translation channels like HoloLive Moments, decided to private all of their videos. They demanded that Coco receive a more severe punishment for her actions. While there are many other channels dedicated to localizing these foreign streamers, the event is truly a testament to how passionate CCP sympathizers are. To this day, the entire channel has no videos, and the Twitter account is private. Meanwhile, the campaign against HoloLive continued, with some trashing the Twitter and YouTube live chats of various HoloLive streamers. This forced HoloLivers to either not show chat on the live stream, or switch the chat to members only. After 3 weeks had passed, HoloLive was hopeful that the drama would have died down. They had already made a public apology, and thought giving audiences some time would heal all wounds. So, the suspensions of Akai Hato and Kiryu Coco were lifted. Hato returned with an emotional stream, thanking those who stuck with her, and seemed like she wanted to avoid any and all controversy. Coco, however, was not content with returning on a low note. She went live, and the chat was instantly filled with both Chinese viewers who spammed statements of condemnation, as well as Japanese and Western fans who cheered on her return. In Japan, she was trending at number 1 and number 4 on Twitter. In just 23 minutes, her stream was super chatted in excess of $30,000. She ended her first stream in 3 weeks with an end screen saying, "Don't forget to subscribe if you loved it. If you hated it, fuck you and never come back." It must have felt like a short-term win, considering the fact that her supporters donated copious amounts of money to her. Meanwhile, the fanbase was now somewhat fractured. Those who supported China were outcast from the community, and there was a more negative outlook on the country as a whole. Shortly after the incident, many speculated that HoloLive CN, the localized Chinese branch, had its status up in the air. This was confirmed when they quietly discontinued it altogether, dropping its 2 localized streamers and pulling out of any business under the CCP. Despite this, for Coco it seemed like all was well. She would continue streaming under the HoloLive name and would no longer have to tiptoe around the subject of Taiwanese relations with China. Not that she was touching on geopolitics too much anyway, but at least she could cross the concern off the list.
I, Kiryu Coco, am leaving HoloLive.
8 months after the incident, it was announced that Coco would be graduating from HoloLive. In other words, she was leaving the business altogether. Thank you for your continued support of HoloLive Productions. We hereby announce that on Thursday, July 1st, 2021, HoloLive 4th generation talent Kiryu Coco will be graduating from VTuber group HoloLive. We wish to extend our deepest apologies to all of the fans and collaborators for this sudden announcement, as well as our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to everyone who supported her activities for the last 2 years. We as a company are saddened by her decision to leave, but after much deliberation between both parties, we have decided to honor her wishes. Users in the replies expressed that her leaving hit harder than they thought it would. Fellow content creators expressed the same sentiment on social media, while others speculated on the reasons for her leaving.
最初ここが猛スピードで僕たちの前を走っていった時、その背中に憧れたし、尊敬しました。本当に。
It makes me sad. What can I say? It makes me really, really sad.
Man, it was getting emotional at some points, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But because I honestly think this is an end of an era for HoloLive, because I think HoloLive owes Coco so fucking much.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
she is basically the sole reason why HoloLive is as big internationally. She's basically the reason why HoloLive English exists, right?
Her graduation stream peaked at nearly 500,000 viewers, with fellow content creator friends expressing an emotional goodbye to someone who had been HoloLive's most successful talent over the last year. In the following months, many of her former fans have speculated as to the exact reason for her being cut. Was it really because both her and the agency had come to an agreement? Was she forcibly removed? Or perhaps she personally didn't want to return under restrictions? Prevailing theories suggest that whatever happened internally at HoloLive at the time of the controversy changed their outlook on her brand as a whole, possibly souring the relationship. It's been noted by some that she was featured less and less in collabs after the incident. But whether or not there is any truth to her leaving as a result of the aftermath is really unknown. Without proper evidence, it's just a baseless allegation. On a positive note, her talents would not go to waste. Coco returned to the online world under the name Kason, bringing back much of the same personality that was present prior, but with a new look as to not confuse brands. To this day, she has not spoken as to the circumstances of her graduation, likely as a part of contractual obligations. While we often think of content creators as individuals, it's important to remember that sometimes their careers are not entirely their own. With controversies like this, it makes us realize the friendly community of VTubing has an underbelly of corporate interests that can make you question what you watch. Kiryu Coco, as talented as she was subject to powers much greater than herself and an international conflict spanning 80 years. In the end, whether or not the theory that she left her agency as a result of the controversy that happened more than half a year prior isn't the most conclusive detail. It's the idea that your favorite streamer is ultimately at the behest of audiences, and more importantly, the financial investments behind their creation. That being said, HoloLive's latest statement on the issue is also one that sounds eerily familiar. We always respect the integrity of China's territory and sovereignty, respect the Japan-China Joint Statement and the Japan-China Peace and Friendship Treaty, and support One China principle.
两个礼拜以后 速度与激情就两个礼拜以后
Thanks for watching. I've been Turkey Tom, and until next time, leave me alone.